Yeah. Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain, 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool. 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another, yeah. I go low like undercover, yeah. Wanna know my name, 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름. Yes, you can even guess me, cause I'm baby. High low 확실해, not like maybe, yeah. Devil let me welcome to my palace. 찾지 않아 Alice, you just keep on wonder. You just keep on wonder. 찾지 않아 Alice, but in 너의 memory. I just pop a bin, Danny have been. 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 날개 위.
What's up, everybody? So we're back one more time with Spectre on For Your Ears Only, a Bondcast. So before we get started, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. You know how we do it. And I'm here with my boy Caleb Mabry and Colton Flatt. Both of them come from Savannah, Tennessee, which is also a place I come from, but I don't live there no more. With me, I have my wife, Michelle Lynham. So here we are once again about to talk about Bond. So we have made it to number 24 of the official series with Spectre. So Caleb, how do you feel about Spectre?
I actually enjoyed it. I've been hard on this movie in the past. I think I've actually been hard on it, like in some of our prior episodes.
Yeah.
And I don't after watching it, I don't think that was quite warranted.
Colton?
So, sorry.
I'm an idiot. Movie good. Did not remember that Leah Sedu's character was Mr. White's daughter.
Joe?
I'm like Caleb. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to on this rewatch that I did today.
So
I wanna preface some of my opinions real quick. I'm gonna say a lot of negative things about this movie, but all in all, I enjoyed it.
I went and saw this movie in 2015 when it came out, and I went with like a ton of people. Like Colton, you probably know several of these people I went with. I went with Dalton Wicker.
Hell yeah, Dalton Wicker.
Clint White.
Hell yeah, Clint White.
Jake Smith.
Old Jake Smith.
Good old Jake Smith. There was some other people there too. I just can't remember who it was. But I went with like a ton of people to see this. And I walked out of the movie theater and I loved it. I mean, I thought it was great. And then like I start hearing about all these bad reviews of it. And it perplexed me quite a bit. Even to this day, I feel like, you know, I have a connection to this movie that a lot of people don't have. I love Spectre. I really do. And I hate that it gets the hate it does, but there is something that I think is incredibly stupid, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Blofeld and Bond being brothers thing, that, you know, that's just, I don't know why they did that. Like, if they could just leave that out, it would be fine.
It's like they feel like they have to. Maybe that's the only way for there to be stakes, is for them to have some personal attachment to each other.
I just feel like they just, I don't know why they felt they had to do that. You know, I think they were just taking too much influence from like other series, you know, other franchises.
That's certainly what it is, without a doubt.
But it by no means did they have to do this. They could have done it another way, but it is what it is. I still like the movie, even if it's got this horrendous family
twist,
you know.
Twist.
If I could bitch about it for a second, like, I feel like they're like, hey, we have to connect all these movies. Well, the only way this makes sense, us connecting all these movies, we connect Bond and Blofeld. So I think both of those things were kind of dumb. Like, together.
I feel like if they had just given it about 5 more minutes worth of thought, they could have come up with something better.
Yeah.
I feel like it was an afterthought too. I feel like they got Christoph on set, and then like he walked by Daniel one time, was like, shit, those guys, you know, if you squint really hard, they might look kind of similar from far away. Maybe they should be brothers in the movie.
And then whoever said that, was like, anyway, I gotta go to the eye doctor.
So,
We're gonna do a poor eyesight.
so we do actually open this movie with the flipping gun barrel.
Thumbs up for me.
Yeah. So
I
what
don't
do
even
y'all
mind.
think of the gun
I
barrel?
don't even mind that
agree with it?
they went back to this 2D matte with like.
I know, like,
It's fine.
but why did they do it like that? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, guys, we literally had the greatest gun barrel in GoldenEye, and basically the whole Brosnan run, bar die another day with the goofy CGI. But I mean, we had the look, and somehow they like I don't even know what they did in this one. It's like
Dude, they must have been like at the bottom of their VFX budget. So they were like, oh man, we ain't got enough left to do the reflections. I just put a 2D matte.
yeah,
No one's gonna
like,
notice.
what do you think about it?
It's fine.
It's fine.
No.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's
I mean,
especially since we've gone what three movies in a row without a
yeah.
proper gun
I
barrel.
mean, honestly, guy, it's probably just us like insane Bond fans that even care about the gun barrel, but like, I really like
Well,
the gun barrel.
like I don't. I really like. Honest to goodness, I do not mind that it's a 2D matte. It's just weird.
Yeah, it is a little bit strange, especially in 2015 when this movie came out. But anyway,
Right. Yeah.
but so the gun barrel leads us into the pre-title sequence. So we're in Mexico City. So how do y'all feel about Mexico City? This whole
Dude,
pre-title sequence.
I think this pre-title sequence reminds me a lot of all the stuff that went on during the Mardi Gras in Louisiana, and then it also kind of reminds me of were they in the Bahamas? Not the Bahamas. They were somewhere. Whenever I think it was in Thunderball, the big
That was the
parade.
Bahamas.
Okay, so the big Thunderball parade they had there, or whatever.
Yeah, it's called the
Reminded me
junk canoe.
The junk canoe. It reminded me of that. And I don't know, dude. Seeing Daniel Craig walk out the hotel and along the edge of that building was just really badass. I like that whole sequence.
So what about
Jonathan.
what Daniel Craig's wearing?
Okay, I was going to ask you, is that supposed to be Baron Samedi?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that he's wearing that. Like, I dig it a lot, actually. Like, I really like that quite a bit.
Yeah,
Especially because Live and Let Die was one of the. I mean, I know I've probably talked about this, but Live and Let Die was the first Bond movie I owned on VHS.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I love it when we get references to it. So
That's why I thought it was funny that Colton mentioned that this opening reminded him of Live and Let Die because that was probably on purpose. Like the filmmakers probably realized what they were doing and they were like, well, might as well dress him up like Baron Samedi while we're at it.
Yeah.
So Bond, he's with this hot Mexican lady, and he leaves her in the room, takes his Baron Samedi suit off. He's in another very bespoke suit, walks across the ledge of that building and sets up, turns his laser on his gun on and his microphone and starts listening into a conversation. And we hear talk of the Pale King, and all of a sudden they see the laser, and Bond shoots the briefcase, which blows up the whole apartment block pretty much. Like in real life, guys, this would have probably killed like so many different people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Did he not?
I guess
shoot
we're
the guy
just
at the table.
yeah, he shot the guy at the table, then he shot that briefcase which had the bomb in it.
I guess we're just supposed to assume that they're meeting in some like abandoned building.
Maybe so.
So, just to minimize casualties, I guess.
I mean, he was the only one that ran out of the building, so
Yeah.
Who's
me
the only one that lived?
for another 5 minutes anyway.
What's that?
For another 5 minutes anyway.
Oh yeah, true, yeah. What do you guys think of the before I think when Bond sets up with his gun and the laser, I think that's when we get our first like actual cut. Um, the entire sequence leading up to that point is supposed to look like one shot. What did you guys think of like
Well, that's
about that?
it's a Sam Mendes thing.
I feel like this was his trial run for 1917.
1917, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I've always heard.
but I did want to point that out. I just wanted to say that it looked good.
Yeah.
It turned out really, really, really cool.
Yeah, like I read that it's actually not one continuous
Oh,
shot,
of course
but
not.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
made to look like it. Have you
Yeah, the
seen
shots are blended together very well.
Have you seen 1917?
I haven't, dude.
I haven't.
I've been meaning to watch that movie ever since it came out.
Yeah, me too.
This opening sequence reminded me of that. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't watched that movie yet.
So, what about the helicopter fight? Like, what about the helicopter doing the turnover in the air?
That was cool.
It was really
How
cool.
did they do that? Like, how practical is that?
The wide shots are real. Like they did that for real. Now how? I don't know.
Like, that's not even how helicopters work, is it?
I'm sure it had to be modified to some capacity.
No, it was just insane. Like, these movies just never cease to amaze me with the shit they pull off sometimes. So I kind of
Well,
hope it's real.
Who thinks of that though? Like I don't know. It's just like one of those things. It seems kind of simple, but really, like who thinks of turning backflips in a helicopter?
So, what I like is whenever he does the flip and it plays like this sound effect. You know what I'm talking about? Like a little like
Of course, I know what you're talking about. Yes, because it sounded like a slide whistle.
yes, like hey, and Caleb, the man with the golden gun. You know that movie that we made reference to like a ton of times in last episode?
And Skyfall, yeah.
I don't recall that movie. What's it about?
But
I want to say that I remember watching like some behind the scenes or something or maybe it was like an interview of Sam Mendes saying that The Man with the Golden Gun was like, I don't know if it was like one of his favorite Bond movies or like one of the most influential Bond movies for him. So, but it would make sense if that was the case. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
Because like, dude, you really don't have to look that hard and to see some similarities.
You're right. Blofeld should have had 2 nipples.
Everybody's got 2 nipples.
I was going to say, he probably did.
I'm at 3 nipples. Just cut that out. I had a strong, boys.
Colt said, wait a minute, you guys have 2?
Hey, y'all have 2?
Oh, Jesus. I forgot to keep the thing on me.
Oh, no.
What, the Living Daylights?
No, that's right here. Somebody stole my living daylights.
Shut the podcast down. Oh, okay.
I got to call 911. You guys give me about 5 minutes. Sir, can you show us a description? Yeah, I'll send you one right now.
So
What do you needed a script, the best Bond movie of all time. You know what I'm talking about.
Like, I've never seen James Bond. Say everybody's seen the living daylights.
So we also see Bond take the Spectre ring off of dude. I actually have a copy of this Spectre ring somewhere. I just didn't think to bring it on here. But yeah. Bond takes the Spectre ring off of what's his name? Marco Sciarra, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember your bulldog? You said you were going to bring it.
Damn it.
Okay, sorry.
It's at school, isn't it?
I'll bring it next time.
There's only one more next time, John.
I'll make sure that I deliver.
I
see you.
In regards to the I guess the way that he disposes of Sciarra, I thought that was really cool. Him holding on to the, I guess this is a seatbelt or something, maybe to strap cargo down. But like he's holding on. Of course, Skiar is too, and he lets go at the last second. While the helicopter is tilted the correct way and just kicks him out.
Dude, just out.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and go into the title sequence, and guys, okay, like I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The title sequence is okay. The song, when I first heard it, I was okay with it. Guys, this is by far my least favorite title song now.
I
Like
agree.
I cannot stand this song. And I'm not much of a fan of Billie Eilish's No Time to Die, but man, it's a lot better than this. This is the low point of the songs. Shell, what do you think?
I agree with you. Like all the visuals are fine. I like them. I like the octopus and the way it's like ink and smoke at the same time and all the women and everything. Everything's fine except the song. Just like it does not get you pumped to want to watch it.
It's just I don't even know what the words are to describe this song, but it pisses, I mean, literally, guys, it pisses me off that people talk bad about the freaking Jack White and Alicia Keys song,
One of the best ones.
but they think this is all right. Like this is crap.
This is baby shit. This is
I'm gonna
baby
say
shit green.
I'm gonna say that's just a matter of taste, maybe. Poor taste, that is. Dude, it's one thing to say that a song is bad because there's a million bad songs. It's another to be an annoying song. This song annoys me.
I agree.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. So I don't even mind the Billie Eilish song. Like she's got some decent music. I don't love her, but I don't hate her. That song is better than this one, but I absolutely loathe this one. So instead of watching it, I watched the Radiohead song during the like I played it while the intro was on because they have a YouTube of the Radiohead one playing. And I don't like the Radiohead song either.
Yeah, it's not much
I don't like
better,
either
but-
one.
I knew that there was an alternate song for this movie. I don't think I have listened to it.
It's not good.
Okay.
It's
I
better
watched
than
it
this.
with Calvin
Not
Dawson.
by much.
Is it the same song or different song?
Well, it's a different it's a different song, but like it's it was a I guess attempt to be the Bond song for this movie.
Okay. Have you played that for me before?
I don't think so.
I'm
I
not
like
sure
Radiohead, but you're not missing anything out. Like
Okay.
you're not missing out on anything at all.
I'm not sure how it works, but I don't know if like the producers say, all right, this is an open call for Bond songs and everybody submits a song. But I know I've heard or read this Radiohead song was submitted and I guess rejected because it was too dark.
Yeah.
So they said Daniel is a fan of Radiohead and he wanted them to do this song. It was in that the Bond music documentary. That like Daniel's a friend of them or a big fan of them or something. They wanted them to do it like a couple times.
Yeah.
I think I'm misquoting the documentary here, but they went with this version of the song over that one.
Yeah, I just think we just probably need to move on because there's nothing I can literally even say remotely
Dude.
about the song. Like
Yeah.
it's just
I wanted so bad to fast forward through this. Like,
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I mean, people talk crap about the Roger Moore era having like slow ballad songs. Guys, this right here, like at least the ones that Roger Moore had were all right. I mean,
yeah.
at least they were
The
okay.
slowest
Like,
one-
this was just crap. Like,
Yeah, the slowest one I can think of is For Your Eyes Only, I think.
yeah. For Your Eyes Only or Octopussy would have, the
See, I can't even remember that one. Like, I don't even.
but
You know who they should have had do this song? Not this song, but the song for this movie.
What? Or
Elton
who?
John.
who?
Elton John.
Elton John.
It is kind of surprising that he's never done one, isn't it?
He's kind of prolific.
Yeah.
John's rolling his eyes. It looks like he don't like Elton John. I like Elton John.
I mean, he's all right. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm not just like his
I'm
number
not
one
like the biggest fan in the world, but he's all right. Like, you know,
I'm not his biggest fan either. I'm just saying, like, you want a better song than this? Get somebody that makes better music.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I could say Elton John
Good
would probably
point.
make a better song than this, Colton. I'll
Yeah,
agree
for
with you
sure.
there. Like, I mean,
Dude, I can make a better song than this.
like us
I
in
could
this
not make a better
room
song.
could make a better song.
I'm kidding. That's not fair to say.
Anyway,
I'm not denying that Sam Smith is very talented. I'm sure he is, but this song ain't it.
anyway, now that we've talked crap about the song, I guess we can move
And
on.
another thing, no, I'm just kidding.
So we see Bond kind of getting a dressing down from M.
Very Bernard Lee like.
Yeah.
I feel.
And Bond's kind of just playing it off as, hey, it ain't that bad. Everything, you know, it could be worse. And we actually meet a new character called C, Max Denby. And Bond calls him C, which we will get to why he calls him C later on in this review. But
I think we know why.
yep.
He's a cunt.
Oh,
Well, all right then. Well, I guess we just went ahead and went
I'm
over it
sorry.
right now. All right.
I thought his name was Caleb.
I'm sorry.
Good reason.
So pretty much Bond gets kind of like grounded, you know. And of course, we got to remember MI6 is blown up in Skyfall. So they don't have the MI6 building anymore. And MI6 and MI5 are supposed to be joined, and C's the one that's supposed to be, you know, in charge of that. So we get a little shot of Bond and Tanner on a boat, and Tanner showing off C's new place, which is this kind of futuristic looking building.
I don't know.
Clearly a CGI building.
Yeah. So they go to MI6, which is like in another like bunker looking area, right? Like it's kind of like down in a down in a basement or something like that.
I thought that was just Q's.
That's just cute.
Oh, it's just Q's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask.
Interested in the merger.
I was gonna ask where exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I said he's not very interested in that merger. He doesn't trust it at all.
Yeah, Q doesn't.
Yeah.
Keeping it secret, his place at least, keeping it.
I have a question. What do you guys think they would call a merger between MI5 and MI6?
What now?
What do you guys think they would call between those two branches working together? Like, not the surveillance program, just if MI6 and MI5 had to work together. What do you think they would call that?
MI11?
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm just I'm just joking. I just said that.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. You just blew my. I'm sorry.
It's like, oh my gosh.
But did you guys hear my guess?
What?
Quantumosaurus?
Jesus Christ.
Quantumosaurus.
We need to post the picture of the Quantumosaurus.
He wouldn't do it.
Oh, I was completely joking about using it as a thumbnail.
Well, I was gonna get him to do it. He wouldn't do it.
Oh.
It's not Bondian enough, and I get it.
So we get Bond going and talking to Q. Q gives him smart blood, which is basically designed to track where he's at. And Bond also tells him, hey, you know, you need to make me disappear for a few days. And also Q shows him the DB-10. So what do you guys think about the DB-10?
The sexiest thing in this movie.
There's two other things I think could be sexier than the DB-10, but the DB-10 is indeed a sexy car.
Well, I'm not considering the DB5 at the end of the movie. Spoilers.
I think he was talking about Monica Bellucci.
The person.
I forgot she was in this movie, but yes, she is sexy.
So one thing we skipped over was what about the the personal effects from Skyfall that Moneypenny gives Bond? Like the box that Bond has her come to his house to give, and we see his house, and it's like,
dude,
like the bare minimum.
Yeah, that didn't come from Skyfall. Maybe they come from a different place called Skyfall, but it didn't come from Bond's house because that place got vaporized. Nothing survived that.
I agree.
And Bond plays the video clip from M.
Yeah, we actually do get to see Judi Dench in this movie.
Just couldn't let her go.
You just couldn't let her go, could we?
So is she credited or no?
What?
Is she credited or is it just a cameo?
That's a question, Jonathan.
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean,
I don't know.
You're the James Bond guy, John. I expected you to know.
all right. I see how it is.
I will look it up.
Okay.
But I have a question as well, or well, more of a statement or trivia fact, I guess. So in that video clip that we see of M, they did a really good job of making it look like she took it with her webcam from that scene in Skyfall where she's watching the first YouTube video of the NATO agents. She's got the same outfit on, and it's clearly like in her living room. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I do have a question. If these people were watching at the time, why didn't they catch this recording?
I don't think that they had the surveillance capabilities then.
I mean,
is
how
that what you
long?
mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like, how long of a gap is there between Skyfall and Spectre? Like, it's
not clear,
right?
I mean,
and what makes it even more confusing is the fact that Daniel Craig is not old anymore. You remember how they made a big deal about him being old in Skyfall? Well, they don't really mention it in this movie. So, I mean, for all I know, but just based on that alone, this could take place before Skyfall.
So I always thought that Spectre happened immediately after Skyfall is the way I always looked at it. Because the fact that Moneypenny is bringing him stuff from Skyfall, that's the way I always rationalized it.
So they were building this giant skyscraper years before this, because that's going to take.
It is kind of a contrivance there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was joking, by the way. I know Skyfall didn't I know this takes place after Skyfall. Okay.
Come on, Caleb. We know.
Oh well, I guess I'm talking to the audience more than I am y'all, because
I know, man. I'm just joking.
Okay.
Well, when we're looking at his stuff from Skyfall, though, we see his guardianship papers, and if you read them, you can see that it says Oberhauser. So that's going on there.
Yeah, so we see the guardianship papers, just like Michelle said, and it says, Hans Oberhauser was his guardian. That is actually right from the pages of Fleming.
Yep.
That was in the story Octopussy, the story, like the short story Octopussy,
which I have read.
I'm gonna nod my head and pretend I knew that.
Did not know that, but I read that.
And we conveniently see a picture which has a young Bond and a Hans Oberhauser, but somebody else is conveniently ripped out.
I don't know if he's ripped out. I think he's burned out.
Or burned out.
I think, yeah. It looks like a ember or something landed on it and conveniently burned his face out.
Conveniently burned his face out.
So where did these people live together?
Austria, I guess, or the German Alps, right? Something like that. It's either Germany or Austria, one of the two.
So Bond loses his parents, and then has to move to Austria.
Yeah, or Germany, one of the two. I can't
German
remember
Alps or whatever.
Somewhere with snow.
So when does he retain ownership of Skyfall and all this? Like,
Well, I mean, I would think he would probably retain ownership of a property that big, either probably in his late teens or his early 20s is whenever I would figure that.
okay, and his groundskeeper just took care of it that whole time. He was
Yes.
living with him, and then he goes to boarding school. Okay.
Well, Bond's got to go to the funeral. Plus, they're having a security conference in Tokyo. And both of those things are happening in 3 days.
So this whole security conference is all about C getting access to everyone's, pretty much all these different nations' intelligence, like their surveillance, which, of course, we know later on this plays into someone else's bigger plan. So Bond steals the DB-10 and he makes his way to Italy. And a lot of Daniel Craig Bond movies are in Italy. I think all but one have a part in
Wait,
Italy.
yeah, I think Skyfall's the only one that doesn't.
Yeah.
I never noticed that. You're
Yeah,
right.
I think Skyfall's the only one that doesn't have an Italian section in it. Like, I don't know what it is with the Craig movies with Italy, but man, they like it,
It's sentimental because that's where Vesper,
Vesper.
yeah.
But so Bond takes the DB-10 to Italy, and he
That's a 20-hour drive.
In a cool car. Probably didn't feel like 20 hours.
I was about to say, if I'm gonna have to make a 20-hour drive, might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well steal a $3 million prototype.
so
Is it 3 million or 3 billion?
I think it was 4, wasn't it?
I don't know, but yeah, just another example of wasted government funds.
yeah.
It's all dirty money.
So Bond goes to a funeral whenever he's in Italy, and pretty much he is there with Blofeld at this funeral, but we don't know it's Blofeld yet. And Bond follows, what's her name? What is her name in the movie? What is Monica Bellucci's name?
Lucia? Lucia.
Lucia?
Mm-hmm.
Follows her home, kills the Spectre agents that are sent to kill her, and pretty much tells her, hey, we have enough time for one last drink. And that leads to a little bit of a rumpy pumpy.
All right. Nice way to put that, John.
Those are words.
Should never be used together, but those are words.
Hey, real quick, I want to talk about how Bond approaches Lucia. Is that her name? About life insurance. It's a little insensitive.
Really is.
But now he had a really good chance right here to push it a little further. When he kills those two guys, he could have been like, look, hey, last chance.
Your premium's going to go up for this.
Yeah.
So after a little bit of rumpy pumpy, she shows him where to go.
He said not again.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry I said that again. So after a good rogering, she says where he should go to meet the Spectre party thing, which is what is it, like at the Forum, the Roman Forum or something like that?
The Palazzo Cardanza.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And so he goes there and he uses his ring to get in. And what is he calls himself? Mickey Mouse?
Mickey Mouse in Russian.
I was about to say, I like his alias.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Mickey Mouse. Is that in Russian?
Well, it's not English. It's not Russian.
I thought it was Italian.
Maybe.
I assumed it was Italian. I don't know.
I don't know.
there's a little bit of Roger humor in this movie, right? They're
Yeah.
injecting.
Well, yeah, like I mean, I think this is the closest we got to a Daniel Craig Goldfinger or a Daniel Craig Spy Who Loved Me, like you know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
probably the closest we ever got to that.
I I want to touch on something I said last episode. I think I said something like Skyfall is like the one true like Bond movie that we get from Craig's tenure, and I stand by that because like we already talked about how this movie just like I mean it like really reaches to try to connect all the movies. Um, but this movie does have a lot of like classic sort of themes, classic just it feels like a classic Bond movie up until the third act. And
Yeah.
so I'll give it credit for that. Like it does a really good job of sort of balancing like the grittiness of the Craig era and the more I don't know, like classic tropes, whatever you want to call them.
See, I think that's why the gun barrel was the way it was.
Could be. I hadn't considered that, but that's a good point.
So at the Spectre meeting, of course, we don't know this is Spectre yet if we're just watching the movie. We get a shadowy figure, and he knows who Bond is, knows that Bond is there. So Bond has to make a quick escape, and he goes out and gets in his supercar, drives off. Well, turns out somebody else has a supercar there, gets in it, and follows him. And so we get an Aston Martin and Jaguar chase. So I
Round
have to
two.
say this. What?
Round two.
Yeah, I have to say this. As much as I like both of these cars in this movie, man, Die Another Day just did it better. I mean,
Oh, it did. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
it did.
Nothing happens here.
I know. It's just like,
I mean,
Check their seat.
yeah, we
What's
get
that?
Bond using the ejector seat, but I mean,
that was kind of cool. Although,
Because if you
I
look
mean,
at the humor, he goes through each one of the buttons and like kind of like you said, it's like a Roger Moore
Yeah.
humor with each of the buttons until he gets to that one and it finally like works.
I love it when he hits the atmosphere switch.
yeah, the
That is
atmosphere.
hilarious.
It's like some show music or something like that.
And
Yeah.
I'll tell you another really good moment. What's that, Colton?
I said it's hilarious.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another really good moment from this chase that I guess I forgot about this when he gets behind that old guy in the was it like a little
Fiat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he pushes him into that parking spot. That was hilarious, and it wasn't
that
like
was Roger Moore right there.
oh yes,
Got his
100%.
airbag deploys.
Yeah, yeah.
One more Roger Moore thing. At the beginning of the movie, when that building, he falls down in that building or
He
whatever,
grabs the
stands on the couch.
Yep.
Yeah. My bad.
yeah. I like how he's still got the handle in his hand. He's like just throws it to the side, but like that scene that I was just talking about in particular, where he pushes him into the parking spot, like it just like it wasn't too much. Like they didn't take it too far. It was just this like little bit of comic relief,
Mhm.
and it moved on. And I think it's really the only way to do it. I think.
Tasteful.
Yeah. Yep.
So we get Bond jettisoning himself out of the DB10 with the ejector seat. And before this, we get Bond on the phone with Moneypenny talking about,
The pale horse.
huh?
He had asked her to find out about the pale horse.
The Pale King.
Pale King,
The
sorry.
Pale Horse is in Revelations.
Sorry.
The Pale King, who of course we figure out later on is Mr. White. And also Bond tells her to look up Franz Oberhauser, who supposedly died in the avalanche. But of course Bond is like, well, I just saw him tonight, you know. So Bond jettisons himself out with the ejector seat. I really like this scene whenever he's using the parachute. He comes down, drops it on the ground, and he says, good evening to to the guy sweeping the street. You know, he just
Okay.
walks on like it's like nothing happened.
Yeah. So I guess I didn't realize before that. Sorry about my webcam. I'm trying to fix it, but I didn't realize before that this guy's like a pretty much just a garbage man, and then Craig just leaves his or Bond just leaves his parachute in the
He
road.
litters.
Like, dude, at least pick it up.
Yes. And also something else I want to say, Mr. Hinks, Dave Bautista's character, man, that scene when he takes that guy and takes his eyes out with those stone fingernails or whatever, my God, that was nasty.
I think
It's
the
so
meeting is
painful.
important too because you realize that this organization is doing human trafficking, which we find out is why Mr. White wants to leave them in the first place.
So something else I want to say, and this is one of the reasons I like the movie Spectre so much. So back in the 60s, in the early 70s, when we had Spectre like in the movies, yeah, we all knew Spectre was bad guys, but like they were just kind of like just bad guys. This movie, they're like evil. Like, you know,
Almost
they're
seems like the Illuminati.
like this. They're like really dark. They do anything, you know, like anything to advance their power, even if it's sex trafficking, you know, blowing up stadiums full of people. It does not matter. Spectre are going to do it if it will help them in the long run. One thing I do want to say is like whenever Monica Bellucci's character is talking to Bond and she's like, if you go to this meeting, you're crossing over into a world where there is no mercy. You know, like anything can happen.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I like this movie is just like, I mean, I just feel like Bond is literally up against people that like, you know, not your run of the mill villains. These are really evil people that, you know, they don't care what they do. Like they have no
Yeah.
scruples about committing the most heinous atrocities ever.
That's another thing I'll give this movie credit for. Like they did a really good job of evolving Spectre to sort of fit the
Like-
Craig version of Bond.
Like, just imagine like one person in your community getting kidnapped, and you never see them again, and they're gone into the human trafficking trade or whatever. They said they had 160,000 women.
Mm-hmm.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after this, he goes to Norway, right? To meet Mr. Watt.
He goes where?
To Norway, right? To
Norway?
meet It is Norway, correct?
I don't recall. It was
Yeah,
cold.
it is.
Or is it
I
Austria?
was-
Mm-hmm.
I said no way like an Australian but person. Yeah.
No, Ray.
Actually,
Norway?
I was wrong. It's in Austria. Is where he goes to meet Mr. Watt. Mr. Watt.
So he's,
Michael
so
said
he's
Mr.
pulling a
Watt.
Hitler.
So he goes to Austria to meet Mr. White, who of course is, you know, kind of like just in his house, just suffering his last days alive. And Bond goes in, and I mean, this is kind of a little suspenseful scene here. You know, we got Bond walking in. There's birds flying around, scaring him and stuff like that. A few spooks thrown in, and then Bond opens his secret door because, of course, Mr. White has a secret door. And so him and Bond talk to each other a little bit. And I do like the way Bond, you know, he's telling him, he's like, listen, I can protect your daughter. And he gives him his gun. And I guess this is like a way of being like, you know, in a way it's like, I'm at your mercy, but in another way, it's like, here's a way you can kill yourself and put yourself out of your misery you're in because of the thallium poisoning that Blofeld did to him. What do y'all think?
Yeah. I never took it that way. I always took it as Bond saying, because Mr. White says, like, how am I supposed to take the word of an assassin?
Yeah.
And Bond's just like, look, there you go. That's my word.
So I get both of the ways you guys are looking at it. Also,
I'm
I feel
not saying
like
you're wrong, by the way. Like, Yeah.
The way I kind of look at it is like Bond's doing him like a mercy, like letting him take his own life into his own hands, like going
Yeah.
out on his own terms.
Yes. And I also like later on in the movie, Bond says, to Madeline Swan, he says, the only reason that your father was even still alive was because of you. He should have died before, but he was alive because he was, thinking about you. So
Yeah.
I think when Bond come along and was like, hey, I can protect your daughter, I think that gave Mr. White enough reasoning to be like, okay, now I can quit suffering now. I'm going to go ahead and take my own life because I know that I know that Madeline is in good hands now.
Yeah. That's
Michelle, what do
yeah.
you think about it?
I agree, but my question is, why would, okay, you tell me if I'm wrong. If Spectre was sending someone for Mr. White, but they poisoned his phone with thallium, did they not already know he's poisoned with
I mean,
thallium?
for real, like it is kind of a,
So why are they going to send a specialized assassin for Mr. White? Why is this whole thing happening if he's
I
poisoned?
never thought of that.
I gotta make
Yeah,
it a fancy
what?
job.
Sorry to
I guess
disturb you.
I guess they were like,
Just hurry up and get
okay,
it
yeah,
done.
we're eventually gonna send an assassin out, but you know what? In the meantime, let's
Let's just make him.
let him rot for a little
Yeah.
while.
um,
How'd the crows get in the house?
The door was open.
Okay, that makes sense.
Um,
You
speaking
figure
of
James,
crows in the house, today at EW James, we had a bird inside the store.
don't you just
really?
hate that? It's so annoying.
It was funny.
Um, I wanted to say a couple things about this section. I I couldn't help but kind of feel something for Mr. White, even though up until this point he's kind of been painted as like this despicable person.
Yeah.
But when he talks about how no, I had to get out when they started messing with women and children, it's almost like he represents the old Spectre from the
Yeah, from the old
classic.
days. Yeah, like the
Yeah. And dude, Bond is Bond is a trained MI6 agent, and he doesn't see that huge like 90s surveillance camera pointed right at his face.
Yeah, so why does he leave that behind?
yeah.
Yeah.
I They already know who he is and that he's coming after him. I don't really think I don't think he was really worried about it. If that makes
Well,
sense.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
There was
like,
no audio, right? No, there was audio.
we'll see, but like that's how Hinks, Mr. Hinks, figures out like it's yeah, because he listens to the tape and hears Mr. White say whatever that clinic is called. And so yeah.
Yep.
So that leads Bond to the clinic and where he meets Madeline Swan. And pretty much Bond meeting with Madeline Swan also leads Spectre there. And also we get what about the drink order that Bond does? He says, I want a vodka martini shaken, not stirred. And the guy's like, we don't serve alcohol. And I just love the way Bond's like,
Yeah.
what was it? I'm really beginning to love this place or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm. In the meantime, C tells M that the new building is mostly from donations from a private sector. So you get that little bit of information there.
Yep.
Dirty money.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Bond's evaluation?
I think he's no, I just think it's his humor is on point.
Yeah, like what is it? She's like, what do you do for a living? He's like, I kill people. Small world,
Well, at first she says,
Doesn't look
hey,
like
you left this part blank. What do you do for work? It's not the sort of thing that looks good on a form.
So we get this chase with Mr. Hinks and Spectre with Madeline Swan in a car, and Bond is using a plane, and I'm not sure where Bond just manifests this plane.
The plane
Uh,
that flew over.
The what?
The plane that I took it as it's the plane that flew over, like the
It's the plane that he took there, like that he
Yeah.
rode in. Yeah.
like whenever you
Um,
first come in and you see the plane is flying
Okay.
clinic.
That does not answer all of my questions, though.
No, it does not.
It almost seems like he just like had the, I don't know, like the cheat code book for San Andreas and just
Yes.
entered the cheat code for the plane.
What about those goggles or glasses, whatever you want to call them?
Are those supposed to be cool?
I don't think so. Like,
I feel like they're supposed to be like kind of like that's the hot item to wear in that sort of environment. They just don't look cool.
no.
One thing I want to say, whenever it was there, they're still at the bar scene. Whenever all those guards are going to come up and try to get Bond, Bond looks at him and says, "Stay." You know, like kind of reminded me whenever Bond told the tiger or whatever to sit.
Yeah.
You know, in Octopussy.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I like that.
I meant to ask you about that.
Well, so I didn't recognize it as a reference to anything, but I do think it's like a great show of power because, like, he just beat your buddy up and he just stopped you. He's like, no, just don't even, man. Like, don't even come in.
Just don't even try. Like,
I kind of like the fact that Q is getting chased here.
yeah, Q's getting chased too at the same time.
I kind of like this Q a lot. Like, I think he does a good job.
So after this chase, you know, Bond gets Madeline Swan. Now, I will say this, Bond should have put 2 bullets into Hinks's head. You know, whenever he got Madeline Swan out of the car, he should have just went ahead and put 2 into Hinks's head so he wouldn't have to ever deal with him again. But, oh well. So
This is the same guy that missed the surveillance camera.
yeah.
So, real quick, I won't dwell on this very long, but what do you guys think of the action scenes in this movie? Just like in a general sense. I mean, like the opening pre-title sequence and like all the helicopter stunts, I thought all that stuff was really cool. But the action scenes in this movie kind of seem like a what do you call it? Like a quick time sequence in a video game.
Yeah, like
They just seem almost overly rehearsed in
Yes.
a way.
So you
I
mean
agree
like-
with that. Like say in that, I'm gonna be honest with you, my least favorite action scene in the whole movie is the car scene. That car chase should have been like way more like cooler than it was. You know what I mean?
It just feels so uninspired. Like
Yes.
the action scenes just kind of feel like they're going through the motions.
Yes.
Just for this, because just it's like they made this action sequence just for the sake. You know, it's almost like the action sequence are here to break up the dialogue scenes,
Yeah.
and that's it.
It's like they got to check boxes as they're making the movie.
Sure, yeah.
So after Bond saves Madeline Swan from Spectre, they are talking about L'American, and they think it's a person, but Madeline Swan's like, no, it's not a person, it's a place. And where was it at? Tunisia? Is that where it's
Tangier.
at?
Uh-huh.
So, and we also figure out what the name of this evil organization is, and it is indeed Spectre, and Q goes over the ring, and the ring just happens to have what is it like? DNA from pretty much all the villains in the past. Like, I mean, what was it?
I don't know. That's what I want to know. Like, why does it have all this information?
Yeah, like it's just like
Okay.
it's got.
I caught his laptop screen like for like a second, and it says something about a toxology report.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It doesn't make any sense.
like it's just like, I mean, imagine if they did that in the classic Bond era. It'd be like, wow, Bond, you know, it's got DNA from Dr. No, Rosa Klebb, Goldfinger, like just all these random different villains. Like, like I think this is probably the scene that is the most world building of all of them. It's just literally this is the scene where Q's like, "Wow, Bond, everybody's connected." I mean that's literally what happens in this scene. Like,
Yeah, it's a stretch.
yeah, it really is a stretch. I will say that, but I mean,
Oh, like, okay, real quick, what is that thing that is like attached to Q's laptop that he sets that ring on?
Some kind of scanner.
Yeah, it's some sort of like 3D scanner, but what is it made to scan other than rings? Is it specific? Like, because it's, what are you doing?
you gonna smoke?
No, that's just an old pipe, man.
Okay, well, my point was it just seems like that device, that 3D scanner implement, seems very limited.
Yeah.
Kind of ridiculous he even has that on his laptop anyway. Like, look how small it is. It just,
Yeah.
Hey, it's small, but it gets the job done.
No, dude, that's an
I mean-
NVIDIA gamer laptop, dude. Like,
speaking of quantum sources, did you notice the dinosaur sticker on his laptop?
yeah, it's for Quantosaurus.
I figured.
Uh,
So does it pop out of the laptop or does it plug into the laptop?
that implement deal?
Yep.
Or the dinosaur?
Oh, either.
But both.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, what was I gonna say? Damn it, Colton. Oh, I like how when Bond goes to Q's room with Madeline, it's either Q just had a lot of time to kill, like waiting on Bond, or his laptop automatically made like a what do you call it? Slideshow for the like presentation for the quantum stuff. Did you guys notice that?
I assume
Like
they had to walk back.
What?
I assume they had to walk back.
Yeah, so he probably like it took that computer like 5 seconds to give him all the information that he needed. He's like, I guess I could make a
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But like it had the Spectre like graphic and everything.
Pictures of Blofeld on holiday.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm so sorry.
Heck is on, John.
So we go to the hotel room, and so one of these scenes, they're trying to figure out where, whatever is stored at L'American, where it's at. Bond finds the bottle of vodka there, which he calls her inheritance. Also, she goes to sleep, and Bond's there, and he's keeping watch, and he's just kind of just sitting in this chair. And we get the second time that James Bond talks to a rodent. This is my wife's one of her personal favorite scenes.
My favorite.
It's
Do
pretty
it.
nice.
Hey, who sent you? Who are you working for?
They got the job done.
What's that?
They got the job done. I don't know
It
why you're
did.
thinking it.
So I guess MI6 in it. That would make sense.
Of course, we know the first time Bond talked to a rat is in Diamonds Are Forever.
That's what I was going to say. I like to think that this is the same mouse from Diamonds Are Forever.
If it's
Tying
not the same mouse, maybe it's a cousin,
Maybe it's his half brother.
half brother, something like that.
Do you guys think they rebooted the mouse too? Or just Bond?
Definitely not the same actor. Like Mouse's lifespans are extremely short, Caleb.
obviously it's not. I mean, from a narrative perspective,
Hey, well,
I have a,
Spectre's all about world building, man. It could be.
that's true.
You never know.
Yep.
we should turn the subtitles on. The mouse would have told us, "They have my family. You've got to help me, James."
You got to help me.
And also, Sean
Great.
Connery is buried in a pipe underground.
Um,
I have a question. Are we just expected to believe that they were there staying on vacation for their anniversary every year, and like they'd be there for a week tops, and at the end of the week, he'd just like plaster up a wall?
you see him
Okay.
like.
I thought the same thing. I was like, is he destroying this wall every time?
It's like you see Mr. White.
And wouldn't she know that?
Yeah.
Like, well, you got to bust down the wall.
Right.
You like see Mr. White like, all right, baby, we're about to leave. Hold up 1 second. Go back to doing
Over there framing that shit up, putting down new crown molding.
He's just
Doesn't
using
make any
plywood.
sense.
He's just using plywood by the end. Like he's not even using sheetrock. He's just like he's not even like take the time to make it look good.
But
that just wasn't
Oh,
thought
God.
through.
yeah, it was. It really was. It wasn't.
Because you would think Madeline would be like, I remember, like even like let's say he didn't have to break the wall every time, and like it was just a door that led to
Yeah.
that room. She at the very least should have been like, I remember there being a room here.
Yeah, there was a door here, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I want to say this, and like I've already talked about this in like another podcast, but the way that they handle, let me restart that. The way that they handle Vesper right here is the way they should have handled her from this moment out. Literally, James Bond picks up a VHS, which honest to God should not even been there, but if they had to put it in there, they did it good because he looked at it and it literally said Vesper Lynn interrogation. And you know what he did? He threw it down.
Okay.
You know why? Because he had moved on. He was like, you know what? I don't even need to look at this. I've moved on. I'm past this. Throw it.
He should have been like, you know what? I don't need to go to her grave in the next movie.
Exactly.
Well, I rolled my eyes at the fact that it's even there. Like,
yeah, but if they had to put it, they did. I think they handled it right. Since it had to be in there.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just reminding other audience members that Vesper was connected to Mr. White. So there's
Could be. Yeah. I like,
in case you forgot, it's this guy.
If
that's
got a Vesper. Let us shove it down your throat again. Like,
well, it's funny, but like that's actually a really good point because it's like it's just one of those little hints that some people need without it being like shoved down your throat. So yeah, like it's in that regard, it's fine.
So they then get on the train and they're there about to enjoy 2 dirty martinis where a humongous dude comes up and tries to kill them. And of course, we get Mr. Hinks. And I'm going to say this, y'all. Mr. Hinks, he dies in this scene. I thoroughly did not expect this to be the last time I ever saw him. I thought he was going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was going to be like Jaws and we get him back to fight another day.
I wanted him to come back.
I did too. I mean, I liked it. I thought he was cool. Like, it was kind of nice having a superhuman super soldier trying to kill Bond. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's one of the like classic elements that we get back in this movie that I really liked.
Something I really like about this character is that they play on Dave Bautista's strengths as an imposing character. They don't give him like really bad dialogue or anything.
Oh, he don't get any dialogue besides saying shit. That's it.
What I'm saying is like he's serious and like he's trying to do a job. They don't make him seem like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, he's competent, but it's like he doesn't need to be developed. Like he's just there to
Kill.
assassinate people.
It's
Yep.
kind of like you, Colton. Competent and doesn't get the chance to talk. That's the way you are at Kroger, isn't it?
I mean, I get to talk. There's just nobody around because we're closed.
What
Is
if
it
that's what if that's what Mr. Hanks's like gimmick was? He just talks to himself.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he worked at Kroger. He's over opening boxes
That too.
with thumbnails.
No, yeah, that too. He talks to himself at Kroger.
That makes sense. Shit.
So after the fight with Hinks and I'm guessing his death, we get a little bit of a rumpy pumpy between Bond and Madeline Swan.
You didn't have to.
I'm glad they showed us that for future reference.
Showed us what?
That they rumpy pumpied.
Y'all know where I got that word from, right?
No clue.
No.
Calvin Dawson. He's the one I heard it from. That's the reason I'm saying it.
Shout out
Yep.
Calvin Dyson.
You're right.
Shout out Calvin. He's the one I got that from.
I really do like this fight a whole lot. I kind of dogged on the action sequences there a few minutes ago, but this is one that I really enjoy. The only thing I will say is that it was really stupid of Hinks not to just shoot Bond in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's good.
Also, on one of these train sequences, we also get Madeline Swan talking about how whenever she was a little girl, her father, somebody came to her father's house, and she knew where her father kept his gun at, and she shot the guy, I guess. And of course, we're going to see that in the next movie, but we'll talk about that next time. So they get off. Go ahead.
Does Blofeld make a reference to that? Like, is that something that No Time to Die retconned?
Kind of did.
He says something
He
like,
said, "I've been to."
I came to your father's house one time. Do you remember that? And she's like, no. And he's
Well,
like, but I do.
She doesn't say it like that though. She's scared.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I don't remember that. Like, I guess as a way to like sort of brush it off.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I remember. And I feel like that was supposed to imply that that was him.
Yeah.
She was talking about earlier.
Like, I feel like they didn't really know what they were doing with that at the time when they did that.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And so they get off the train and they're kind of just standing there and they see a car in the distance. And Madeline Swan's like, what's that? And Bond's like, that's a Rolls Royce. What is it? A Rolls Royce? What's the name of it?
Phantom?
Something like that. Silver Wraith, maybe. I don't know what it is. Like,
I think it was Silver Wraith.
Silver Wraith, yeah, 1948.
1948. So of course, I think this is supposed to be maybe a little bit going back to the Rolls Royce in Goldfinger, even though that one was a Phantom. But
That's where I got that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. And so we get Bond and Swan transported to a crater base, which is like, I guess, this continuity's version of the volcano lair, which
I love this.
Yeah,
base.
I'm glad they put that in there.
I think it is so awesome. And it even fits. Like it's not out of place. It doesn't feel over the top. Like it's just really cool.
Yeah. And of course, it's kind of like Dr. No's Crab Key too. It's all like a nice hotel almost with their rooms, and it's their rooms are made just for them. They've got pictures and stuff in there. So we also see a meteor. And I like what is it? Bond says, I think we're supposed to be impressed by this or something like that.
Yeah.
And Blofeld comes out and he's like, touch it. You can touch it if you want,
Wow.
I don't know why, but that line caught me so off guard.
Yeah.
I guess it was supposed to. I don't know. But yeah.
So the torture scene. So Colton, do you know where the torture scene comes from?
So I don't know where it comes from, unless it's a reference to Goldfinger.
That's not a reference to Goldfinger.
So it's in a book.
It's in a book.
I think
It's
it's a
actually-
reference. I think it's a reference to Goldfinger.
It's actually okay, so Blofeld's dialogue during the torture sequence is actually taken from the book Colonel Sun from Kingsley Amis, which is the first continuation author after Ian Fleming died.
Okay.
So they take this torture scene from that book.
I need to read this book then, along with the other 40,000 James Bond books I need to read.
You've never read Colonel Sun, Colton?
No, I have not, John.
I'm very disappointed in you.
By the
Shame on me.
way, what I said was a Quantum of Solace podcast reference. So
What did you say?
I think Michelle got it.
What
okay.
was it?
He was
I said,
going off what Colton said.
What did I do?
Oh yeah, please elaborate because I don't know what y'all are
What
talking.
Colton said, I
Colton.
think it's a reference to Goldfinger.
yeah. And then I said, I think it's a reference to Goldfinger.
So when did this happen in the?
While you were talking.
No, I mean in the
Oh.
Quantum of
The
Solace.
when Strawberry Fields got covered in oil, Colton said it's a Goldfinger reference, and I think me or Michelle said it, and you said, guys, I get it. It's a Goldfinger
Oh,
reference.
God.
And then I said, yeah, I think it's a Goldfinger reference.
And then crickets, because we do this too much.
I got you. Sorry.
I hate us. You should really fire me from this podcast.
Oh, it's
But,
only a matter of time for me.
So one thing I
You're
want
gonna
to
fire
add
me.
to what you
I'm by
said
myself.
earlier, Caleb, about the action scenes seem like quick time events, is the way James Bond blows up the whole Spectre base right here.
Okay. So now that we're at this point, I'm going to tell you guys my theory. So Blofeld goes into pretty explicit detail as to what he's doing to Bond, like what each individual drill hole is doing to his brain. And it just inexplicably doesn't do any of that, right?
Right.
Wrong. All this is taking place in Bond's mind right now.
You know, I've heard this a few times.
Okay. God, man, I meant to write the YouTube channel down. There's a YouTube video on this. I was at work one day. Me and you've talked about this before, how like you just start thinking about stuff
Oh, yeah.
randomly. This scene in particular, like from this point, like throughout the entire third act, just it always felt so off to me. Like everything just felt so easy for Bond, and it is. And so I was like, what if Blofeld actually succeeded in like lobotomizing him, and this is all taking place in Bond's mind? And like I was like, I'm just gonna look it up, and like that's so far fetched. Like surely nobody else has thought this, but sure enough, there's actually a YouTube video explaining it a lot better than I can. But it is kind of interesting, and like if you consider just how easy it is for Bond, he quick scopes all these guys
Yes.
like one shot. And even the guy that's like, I'm going to call him a mile away. I know that's an exaggeration, but he just flips the stock out, and the guy standing there in front of the helicopter doesn't even like put up any sort of resistance. He just stands there, and Bond's like, bang. Like, I don't know. Just thought I'd share my theory with you guys.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit too easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, Colton, do you have anything to say?
I don't know, man. Like the whole sequence is just. I don't want to say it's anticlimactic because they build suspense with the drill situation, and like whenever the watch explodes, like I like that. Like you see the blood splatter like off Blofeld's face. But like I kind of wanted more. And what happened to the cat?
Roasted.
Yeah, probably. That's another thing that supports my theory. Q never said that watch exploded. He said it had a loud alarm. Like,
You got a point.
Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry.
So after this whole sequence, we go back to London. And did anybody catch what the name of the safe house was that they go to?
Hildebrand.
Oh,
The
Hildebrand?
Hildebrand Rarity.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what the significance of that is?
It is
it's a story, right? Sorry, Caleb.
That is a short story. There's a James Bond short story. The Hildebrand Rarity.
What happens in that short story?
So in the Hildebrand Rarity, James Bond is on a boat with Milton Crest and his wife, and they are going fishing for the Hildebrand Rarity. And Milton Crest is basically just like the definition of an asshole. And he uses poison to get the fish. And the Hildebrand Rarity is a very rare fish. So he gets the fish and then gets really drunk one night. And we don't really know who does it, but he winds up dead with the fish stuffed in his mouth. And Bond has no idea who does it, but he doesn't care. And because Bond does not want to get caught up in a murder case, he basically throws him overboard and makes it look like his hammock broke. And that's it. So it's kind of left ambiguous who actually killed Milton Crest. I left a lot of stuff out of that very short synopsis. You should read it yourself. It's actually one of the better James Bond short stories. It is very
What's
good.
it printed in?
It is in, I believe it's in it's either in For Your Eyes Only or it's in Octopussy and the Living Daylights. It's one of the two.
I feel like I would remember that being in there, but I really don't. Because I did read that.
It might be in For Your Eyes Only. But it's a pretty good story. That's where the character of Milton Crest is made, which was, of course, in License to Kill. That's where he comes from, is that story. But anyway, at the Hildebrand Rarity safe house, pretty much Bond is telling M, like, hey, I've got the dead head of Spectre. He's gone. Of course, Bond thinks that Blofeld is dead now. Hold up. Before we go any farther, I want to say this. Back at the Spectre headquarters, whenever Blofeld tells Bond that, hey, my name's not Franz Oberhauser anymore, it's actually Ernest Stavro Blofeld. How do y'all take that? Like, I mean, I feel like it was supposed to be a lot bigger deal, but it just don't really do much. It's like, well, all right, like
kind of like, I'm cinema mode.
Caleb, I love that.
Go ahead, Caleb. I apologize.
Well, I was basically just going to repeat what Jonathan said. It's almost like it's set up like it's supposed to be this mind-blowing reveal,
Yes.
but we all knew.
Well, he says it after the cat jumps up in James's lap.
Yeah.
Like, also, like, it would be different if, like, they teased Blofeld the whole movie, like, name-wise. Like, it's not the first time you hear his name. Yeah. And then you meet him, and it's James's brother, and then he's like, oh, I'm Blofeld. But instead, like, there's none of that.
You know what I like is when the cat gets up in Bond's lap, and what does Bond say?
I forget.
He says,
I know.
He says, hello, pussy. Like, yeah. I love that. Like, that goes back to Sean Connery. I swear Sean Connery said pussy in so many like so many times in the Bond movies. Like, I mean, I think that was just a word he liked to say.
Yeah, he would actually like read a script, and if it didn't have the word pussy in it, he just throw it away.
He just wouldn't do the movie.
All right,
That
boys.
was how he decided the movies.
Anyway,
Hey, you're the one that said he liked to say it.
well, I really do think he liked to say it.
I was just building on to that. I'm sorry.
But
I'm an idiot.
Just saying, yeah.
anyway, so whenever they're going out to, I mean, this is also, I don't know if you guys have watched any reviews of the movie Spectre, but they talk about how this is when the Scooby Gang comes in, which they're referring to M and Money Penny and Bill Tanner all showing up and Q like
That's a disservice to those people.
Who's Scooby Doo in this comparison?
I guess maybe Bond is Scooby Doo. I don't know.
He's definitely Scooby Doo.
But I kind of get why they say that. Like, I mean, it is kind of like that. Because let me tell you, in all honesty, these people would not be out in the field, man. Like,
well, they're not even getting paid right now, I don't think.
Like, this is off the books. Like, Bond is not even a registered agent anymore, is he? He's like,
well, actually, let me do this. We know that M's already worked in the field before. He's done that. We see that Moneypenny has worked in the field before, though unsuccessfully. She's got experience as a field agent. Q just worked in the field at the beginning of this movie, like halfway through, so it's not his first time. And Bill Tanner, we don't know what all he does at MI6. He might have worked in the field before, so it's really not that far beyond.
yeah, but I still think it's a little bit cutesy to have them all out, like going to save the day. Like,
yeah, it is. But all right, so real quick, like, are any of them on payroll right now?
I mean, they're all like the whole department's been like shut down. Like, they don't have
done away with, yeah. Like,
that's what I'm getting at. Like, they have no reason to be here, other than like they know Bond from work.
Hey, Colton.
Yeah.
It's be like you rolling up somewhere to save Jimmy Latch or something, Colton. Like,
yep, good point.
Like, I don't know, dude. It's like if one of my coworkers called me like need a ride, I'd be like, no.
It's like, no, bro. Like, you get your own ride. Like, we got.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll
like,
give him a ride. I'm not gonna.
Yes, I would give him a ride, but if like, if they were trying to pull off some MI or Mission Impossible Rogue Nation crap, I would.
You're not going to give them a ride for that? If my friends call me wanting to save the world, I'm giving them a ride. We're going to do it.
We're driving where? San Francisco. Yeah.
My wife's loyal, guys. Like, what can I say?
I get you're a better friend than I am.
But so pretty much when the Scooby Gang and Bond are, going out to do this, Madeline Swan then picks this as the appropriate time to be like, no, I'm done. We can't be together, because you're too much like my father or whatever, which think about her, it's kind of a crappy time to be telling dude, hey, we're breaking up, just when he's about to go do some very hardcore stuff. But anyway, they go to do that, which she of course gets kidnapped by Spectre, like apparently right after this.
Would it not have been better for her to have like gotten left behind at the Spectre
house?
Yeah, like
go walking in the dark by yourself. It'll be great.
It's like go walking in the dark by yourself when there are like numerous Spectre agents out. Like, I'm just, who cares? Like
you can't trust anybody in London.
If I was writing this movie and like I saw that, okay, Madeline goes with Bond to London, then she has this quick change of heart, decides to leave. Oh, but then she gets captured by Spectre. I'd be like, wait a minute, just like let's edit this a little bit and let's just leave Madeline, find a way to leave Madeline here. Like, I don't know.
If Bond really wanted to be a hard ass, whenever Blofeld reveals that he's got her, he's like, she means nothing to me. She's my ex.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if they did put that scene in there, that would have kind of be like going back to Bond and Goldeneye. Whenever Natalia gets kidnapped and Bond's
Yeah.
like, she don't mean anything to me, kill her.
Yeah.
Like,
That would have been a nice like addition, I think.
but anyway, so I really do like the way Bond, of course we get Bond kidnapped by Spectre. I just love how Bond kills those two dudes and then like unsnaps his, he's got those
Throws the gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a zip tie?
yeah, zip ties. I just love how he just breaks those, and he's
Well,
Did Tanner and M and Q and Bond, did they all plan this? Because it seems that way.
I don't think they planned it. I think it happened and Bond just did what he had to do.
See, I thought they kind of like set a trap for it.
Okay.
That's the way I felt.
y'all, this is taking place up here. None of this is real.
I got a question. That's funny what you said, Caleb. I still like your theory.
Dude, I will die on this hill. This is not real. Like, anyway.
So you're telling me, like, at the end of another movie, they just like, boop, and then, boop.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'll just bring this up in the next podcast. It's okay.
Okay, are you talking about No Time to Die?
Yeah. I'll just bring it up in the
Yeah.
next podcast.
That movie doesn't happen either. But I'm bogging you down. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, it's off topic, but I really like M's car. I don't know what kind of car that is, but it's a pretty nice looking sedan.
Yeah,
Like, I would drive that, and I'm mad that they wrecked it.
Was it a Jag?
It looks kind of like a Jag, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is one. I
It
think.
looks really good.
Anyway, so
Sorry,
pretty
I took
much
you guys off topic.
go ahead. What?
I'm sorry I took you guys off topic.
Oh no, you're good. So
ADHD there.
so Blofeld tells Bond that he's got, enough time to save himself or save Madeline Swan, which of course Bond finds Madeline Swan and saves her. And then they get into the boat. And, I remember whenever I was watching this movie, this was one of the craziest scenes. Bond taking down a helicopter with a 32 caliber Walther PPK from really far distance. Like, I mean, that's a little bit far-fetched.
Neither one of them are stationary. Both moving. The
Oh,
boat
yeah.
is moving. The helicopter is moving.
I mean, but guys,
Bullets are moving.
it's not. I mean, guys, it's not even a 45. I mean, like it's
I
not,
know.
it's
I'm,
a 32. Like, which I mean, a 32 up against a man, that I'm shooting a man, that would be different. But like a helicopter,
That's what it's made for. It's
I mean,
it's made for basically point blank range.
Yeah, like
I don't like you guys don't suspend your disbelief. James Bond, he could do anything.
Bond has aimbot in this movie.
he does, don't he? He especially got it right now.
Aimbot.exe.
But anyway, Bond takes down the helicopter with Blofeld in it, and this leads to. So one thing I do want to say: has either of y'all read any of the scripts for Spectre that were not used?
No, but
Okay, well,
I know
I have.
it went through like several rewrites, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is one script where literally James Bond kills him right there on that bridge.
Good.
Should have been the way it went.
Honest to God, that should have happened. Like, I mean,
Well,
There's
here's
literally
what.
no reason he shouldn't have killed him right there.
Yes, I agree. Here's what would have happened. I would have been pissed. I would have been like, "Oh man, well, how are you going to bring him back for like? How is he going to be the head of Spectre from here on out?" But if I could like go back to then when I watched that movie, knowing what I know now, knowing about No Time to Die, yeah, I'm completely okay with him just ending him right there.
So I do think this is why I need to say this. Like that the movie series never really, for my part, they never really did Blofeld the way they should have. Especially after I read the books and realized how Blofeld was in the books. The movies really never did Blofeld right. Like Blofeld is not the same way in every book. He changes quite a bit. Like Blofeld in Thunderball is quite different from Blofeld in You Only Live Twice, which is his last book. The movies really never did. I just don't think they did his character right.
That does explain why they just kept recasting him in the earlier movies.
But I mean, I don't know. At one point, I remember. So Dakota, Colton, Dakota Franks, right?
I do. Shout out Dakota Franks.
Yeah, shout out Dakota Franks. So I remember telling him about this is, of course, before No Time to Die came out. And I remember, just kind of like postulating on what was going to happen with, with Blofeld in the Craig era. But one time, guys, I was very excited that Blofeld was back. And I just remember thinking about the possibilities that could happen, Daniel Craig's Bond, squaring up against Blofeld, we finally getting, James Bond killing Blofeld. And man, did they not deliver on that at all. And they just
I like the way he died back in the day, man. That's in my opinion, that's how Blofeld died. He dropped down a pipe, smokestack.
I mean, I don't even like the smokestack death, but man, it's better than the way he went out No Time to Die.
I agree.
I'll tell you what should have happened. Before this movie ended, Blofeld should have got out of MI6 custody or whatever, and he should have killed Madeline. And No Time to Die, or whatever the title would have been, had this been the case, should have been the revenge movie that we never got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Would have been way better. We're just real sad that No Time to Die is up next, ain't we?
Oh, she's not. She loves it.
Oh. Well,
We
damn.
could go all the way to California to see it.
Yeah, we went to California to see that movie.
Dude, that's a great experience, though. I mean, I get
It
the
was. It
religious
really
thing.
was. So we end the movie with James Bond retiring from the Secret Service, getting his Aston Martin DB5, and riding off into the sunset with Madeline Swan.
Who fixed the DB5?
What?
Q.
Who fixed the DB5? It's been like 3 weeks.
Q did.
I get the Q did, but it's been like 3 weeks. There was nothing done to the car. We literally see the empty engine bay, like part of the body of the car, and then like MI6 was shut down.
Dude, he took it to Los Santos Customs and they fixed it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Duh. Duh.
No.
No shit.
You guys are right.
No.
You guys are right. The DB700 is fixed.
Obviously, they just have an infinite amount of funding, so Q probably just hired like a bunch of guys to work around the clock, just sanding and bondoing and
You're Bondoing. Yep.
bond
Owing. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, the car doesn't last that long, though, after this.
I mean, how many? Yeah, I want to say this. How many times we got to see the DB5 blown apart? Like,
I don't know, but I'm getting real sick of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like let's get another car in there. Like
How many of those
Well,
cars
what?
have they ruined?
Why can't it be the blue BMW from GoldenEye? Not that I'm not saying I don't like that car. I'm just saying we don't ever get to see that car do anything.
Fair enough.
hey, just imagine in Skyfall, like whenever Bond gets in, they go to a warehouse to get the car. They turn the lights on, and it's the BMW Z3 from GoldenEye.
And then
Like-
Bond says, "Ah, shit, wrong garage."
Bond looks at her and says, "It's got Stinger missiles,"
Get behind the
And
headlight.
then they never use them.
and they never use them at all. But so I mean, guys, I really do like Spectre. It is one of my favorite Daniel Craig James Bond movies, honest to God. Like
Yeah.
it is.
The classic aspects that I mentioned earlier that they bring back in this movie does a lot of the heavy lifting for me. And I promise you, the next time you watch this movie, go into it like watch it with my mindset, with my theory in mind.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Really, guys, honestly, I think the only bad part of this movie is that stupid Blofeld is James Bond's brother thing. I think that's really the only bad part. Like,
So they're not really even brothers. They just lived together for like 3 years.
like
So
adoptive
like,
brother, you know.
yeah. So like, I don't even really like. It's
Well,
stupid. Do what, Michelle?
I said they don't even live together that long, even if they live together at all. He did say he went to boarding school, and I would assume he continued to go to boarding school. So really, they didn't spend that much time together. But it just shows that he had daddy issues.
Yeah.
Daddy issues.
Daddy issues. That's all it's about.
So, are we to take this from this movie that Bond set all of this into motion, the whole surveillance thing, the whole like the merger, all that stuff, like if you want to look at it that way, it's sort of like the butterfly effect, I guess. Like, is this all Bond's fault?
Yeah, that's
Or
All because he was adoptive for 3 years.
or I guess Bond's parents' fault for nine.
Hey, it's all Bond's fault because Blofeld's daddy wanted to teach him how to ski instead of teaching Blofeld. Like,
Man,
It really.
that's what it
it
boils
gets
down
really
to.
stupid
He
when you
even
think
says
about it
that.
like
He
that.
says, the way I am is because of you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so-
yes, he does say that.
Like, guys, like that was some really crappy writing. Like, I mean, guys,
Terrible.
Charlie Ray could probably write a better villain motivation than that. Like,
You know what's a better Bond movie than this?
Diamonds Are
Like,
Forever.
plot wise, sure, I'll take that.
Still
Bloodstone.
not taking it.
Yes, Bloodstone. Hey,
And we don't even find out what the Bloodstone is in that game.
you know, we need to see, like, and I know I'm going off a little bit here, but
Yeah, don't do that.
we need to somehow figure out how to go over the video games here because I know that if I give y'all an assignment of playing a video game, I know y'all ain't gonna do it.
I don't have the time right now.
I mean, I
I
can't even
don't
get Colton to
have
watch a damn movie. Like,
I don't even have the
What
Living
movie have I not
Daylights.
watched?
Colton,
Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny.
yes,
Jonathan, I've just watched 25 movies
Dude, you know all
multiple
that.
times.
but you watch The Living Daylights once a week.
Dude, I haven't watched Living Daylights in over a month and a half, probably.
Okay.
In over
I'm-
an hour.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm gonna watch the Indiana
Hey.
Jones movies, I promise.
Okay.
You know I'll do it. I don't even own a physical copy of The Living Daylights. So no distractions here.
I'm gonna slip one in your mailbox, Caleb. You're gonna be
Don't
a dick.
do that. Don't do that. I have work to do, Colton. I have to get
Get over there. Don't tell Jonathan.
okay.
As long as you slip a copy of 007 Bloodstone in my mailbox so I can play it.
But no, I would like to go over that game because it is awesome. I love Bloodstone.
I want to
Okay,
play
what-
it. I want to play all the
what-
Bond games. It's
what
just time.
What platform?
I've got it on PS3.
I was asking for
Oh,
when we do this trade.
PlayStation 3.
All right.
okay. Well, guys, last words on Spectre.
For me, this is where the Craig era ends. No Time to Die doesn't happen. Bond and Madeline drive off into the sunset in the DB5. The only part of where No Time to Die happens is whenever he raises up the garage door and, there's the V8 Vantage.
Hey, what if he raised the garage door up and it was the Citroen from Horizon?
Get out of here.
Gosh. Oh shit, wrong garage again.
How many garages does James Bond rent?
Shell?
I enjoyed it. I'm ready for No Time to Die. So
I'm ready for No Time to
Bring
Die
it.
too. It's been quite a while since we've watched No Time to Die, so I'm ready to watch it again. And guys, I know I'm the worst one to talk bad about No Time to Die. I want to go on record as saying No Time to Die has quite a lot of things I enjoy, but at the same time, it's got quite a lot of things that I do not like. Okay, so I don't want it to come off like I just hate the movie. Really, No Time to Die, and I've said this before, but like that was the one I was the most involved in. I went to another part of the country, and saw that movie at arguably the most famous theater in the world. I like No Time to Die, but like it's got some problems that I will be addressing next podcast. Spectre, on the other hand, it definitely has its own problems, but it's okay. You know, I like it. I really do. Spectre, I think Spectre's big problem is it was just trying to devote so much time to world building when it didn't have to. It didn't have to do all that. It could have just been a Bond movie without all this. Like, I think it was really influenced by the Marvel and the DC cinematic universes. I really do believe that about Spectre. I think they were trying to do that, and I just don't think it succeeded. But I do love the movie, by the way. I mean, I love Spectre.
It was so much better when they treated all these characters as just interchangeable because they are. Like, I mean, the actors, I guess I should say. Like, they.
But I do remember whenever I watched this movie, I mean, I remember talking to Dakota Franks about this. I was like, man, I wonder who's going to be the next Bond after Craig and how he's going to pick up from, what Craig does. I did not at the time realize that Craig's Bond was going to be contained just to Daniel Craig. You know what I mean? Which,
Yeah.
after No Time to Die, I was like, okay, I understand the error of my ways. I see how it was
It's
only
a good thing. It's a good thing in hindsight.
But yeah.
Hans site. Hans Oberhauer site.
But anyway, I've said my piece on it. I love Spectre. Yes, it's got problems, but I do like the movie. Caleb?
Yeah, one of y'all summed it up pretty well. I think one of y'all said it was okay. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's a little better than okay at times. Dude, honestly, I really liked this movie up until the third act.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the third act is when it really loses its spark.
Okay. It just feels so rushed.
Yes.
Like after they leave the Blofeld's compound in the crater, dude, Bond gets they escape the compound, get in a helicopter, fly to London, and then Bond gets captured again in this 5-minute window. Like, yeah.
I don't know. It didn't feel rushed to me. It felt painstakingly long after they get to Blofeld's like finding out from the American to the end of the movie. Felt like it took forever for me.
It's L'American.
American.
I'm just kidding with you.
You're good, John. Also, I really like how they go to Tangier, which is like a reference to
The
Timothy
Living
Dalton.
Daylights.
Yeah, my favorite movie.
I noticed Craig's attire, Bond's attire, is very similar to that of Timothy Dalton's in The Living Daylights. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Looks good.
You guys looked at me
Did
like I
not
was
take his sunglasses
insane.
off. Do what?
You guys looked at me like I was insane, and I was like, wait, am I thinking of the right movie?
Oh no, you are correct, Caleb. We agree.
Okay.
We didn't have anything funny to say, so we agree. You're right.
Okay.
Well, guys, I guess we will go ahead and call it a night. And next time we will be on here to discuss the final Eon produced James Bond movie, No Time to Die. And as you can probably already tell, I have quite a bit to say about that movie. I've waited for this moment quite a while, and it's finally upon us. Next week.
Next week. Okay.
Actually, we will see if it's next week because I have some stuff coming up, but we will see. Anyway, if nothing else is to be said, we will go ahead and sign off. We have been the Linehams in Martin, Tennessee. Thank you for watching.
Colton
And
Flat.
I'm Caleb Mabry. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our videos.
yeah,
Spread the word.
guys, listen, if you made it this far, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. And With that being said, who are you working for?